this computer. Hello, it's Karen. It is June 14th, and I'm on, this is sketch number 2. Can't remember what it was called. Oh yeah, it was the 4-corner flip page is what I'm doing on this one. You are going to need your 12-inch trimmer, preferably your Creative Memories one, because of this, the cuts we're going to do. It will be much easier with this. You will need a border punch, or you could use a border maker system. You can use a cartridge, that's fine too. You can decide whatever you want to use. And this is a 1-page sketch that I'm doing, but you can just make it twice and make it 2 pages if you want. So we need a base page. I'm using a piece of white cardstock and 2 double-sided designer papers. Actually, one of them doesn't have to be designed. One of them you should like both sides. And it'd probably be better if they're contrasting, like if one is not as busy as the other. And the other one, really, you'd be fine with just liking the one side. So I'm going to show you what mine looks like. I'm going to show you my desk. And again, if you're just joining me and you're live with me, not if you're watching the recording, make sure you go in the chat and write your name in so we have your name for the recording. So your name for the drawing, sorry. So I'm going to remove my spotlight and do my table. All right, so here we go. Just to show you what this is going to look like, I got this sketch from Megan Jacks. So I just want to make sure you know that this is not my original idea. This is the one that I did a few weeks ago that I've had the pictures of. This was using the new denim collection. And I'm using kind of like a baby blue cardstock on the back and 2 pieces of paper from the denim collection. And then I have this border that I made 2 borders and I just crisscrossed it. The one I'm doing tonight, I've already done once, but I'll do it again. This is using the Perfectly Patriotic collection. And I have a white piece of cardstock for the bottom. It's actually the same 2 pieces that I'm going to be using on here. And as well as I use some blue cardstock to punch out my title here. As you can see on this one, I only did the 1 border. You don't have to do 2. You can do whatever you want. So, and I put a title on it. So I'm going to leave that here so we can kind of look at it while we're going along, since we're just making 1 page. And we don't need the base page yet. So the first thing, or the border cardstock. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use the designer paper that is going to see this plaid. That's the back of this. That's why I'm using the same piece of paper. I'm going to do it a little different, but the one that this is the one we're cutting, the one that shows where the plaid is in the red. The blue is a different sheet. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to make this piece of paper an 11 by 11 instead of a 12 by 12. So we're just going to cut 1 inch off of 2 adjacent sides. So I'll go. I'm going to cut 1 inch off here. And I'm going to make sure I have all my instructions with me. It's a little tricky. And I turned it 90 degrees and I'm cutting it at 1 inch again. And that's all we're cutting off of this. And we'll put that aside. So now you have an 11 by 11 piece of paper. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. What we're going to do is we're going to put our paper in at 4.5 inches. Okay. And I like, for this, I like to hold my trimmer like that. And we're going to cut from 1/2 inch to 4.5 inches. And what that means is if you have the Creative Memories trimmer, you can do this and not cut your paper because it doesn't cut until it pushes down. So what we want to do is go in 1/2 inch then start cutting and stop at 4.5 inches. So what we're going to do is you're going to make sure that your paper is at 4.5 inches. Now, what I'm going to do, I like to use these little tiny mini clips. These make it much easier. So on the trimmer, I'm just going to give you a quick lesson. There is a little line right here, a little white line, and that's where it cuts. So you want to make sure that that is at 1/2 inch. And that's at 1/2 inch right now. So what I'm going to do is put one clip right there. But you don't want to make sure the end of this is at 1/2 inch. You want to make sure that little white line is at 1/2 inch. Now, you'll see, though, it kind of covers the numbers on here. So that white line to the end here is 1 inch. So if you make sure this is at 1.5 inches, you know that's at 1/2 inch. So I know it sounds confusing, but you know, once you do it a bunch of times, a boatload of times, you kind of get it. So I have that at 1/2 inch. And then I want to come over here and I want it at 4.5 inches. So it might be easier to do this with the paper not in it, because then you can kind of see the line. So I know where the 4.5 inch line is. So I'm going to put that at 4.5 inches. And I'm going to take my other clip and I'm going to put it right on the edge. So you know when you're cutting, it stops. See, what this is doing is you're going to have all even cuts because they're all going to be stopping at the right place. So you want to look at this, make sure it's where you want it. Might need to adjust a little bit. Make sure it's at that 4.5 inches here, and it's at 1/2 inch here. So, all right. There, that looks perfect. So I'm going to show you closer. This is at 1/2 inch. We want to make sure it's the white part. Sorry, I want to drop this. The little white line right there, you want to make sure is at the 1/2 inch. And then when you go here, the little white line is at the 4.5 inches. All right, so hopefully I don't sound too long-winded. So then you're going to take your paper and you're going to put it at 4.5 inches. And just make sure it's really along the line. You want to just really make sure it is even. And what you're going to do is now you're going to cut. So I'm going to push this down and cut. Then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. And you're going to put it at 4.5 inches. And you're going to do that cut again. And you're going to do that all the way around. And you can see my cut, how I have 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to do it again here. Going to cut at 4.5 inches. And you can see with the clips, it makes it so easy to just do it quicker. I'm going a little slower, so in case anybody's trying to catch up, I don't want to do it too quickly. And once you've done all 4, you want to make sure you flip it. And you're going to do the exact same thing again 4 times. So I'm right at the 4.5 and the same measurement, and you just move around, turning it 90 degrees until you've done your 4 cuts on this side. Should have one more left. All right. We're not done with this, but we're going to put it aside. And I'm gonna hold it like this right now. I'm going to just keep it on my 13-inch map for a minute, give you guys a chance to kind of get that finished up. And what I want you to do, if you are done, if it is, let me see. If you want the, like mine, if I do it on this side, the red is going to be my mat around my photos, like right here. I'm going to do this one opposite, but I'm going to show you. But the best thing to do is hold it up and to the left, right on this corner of your mat. But I'm going to do mine this way this time. So I'm going to just, because I'm going to try to do it with the other side. Actually, I'm trying to see. Nope, I am going to do it this way. I'm sorry. This will be easier for you to see anyways if I do it this way. All right, so I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to get started with the next step. Hopefully you're right there with me. Let's see. Just looking at my directions, making sure I'm doing it correctly. All right, so what you want to do next is this one that's in the corner. You're going to flip it. And what you're doing is once you flip it, this new corner you have is at the 1/2 inch corner. So you've moved a 1/2 inch down here, a 1/2 inch over here. And this will help you make your perfect fold. So then all you do is kind of fold it, your corner here and there. And that's what it should look like. And you're going to do that on all 4 sides. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. I'm going to put it up on that corner on my 13-inch mat. And you're going to lift it and flip it. And flip it so that your new corner is on the 1/2 inch. And then you're going to kind of just crease it so it lays flat. And now it looks like that. You're going to turn it 90 degrees again. Now, if any of you are lost, don't worry. As soon as this recording is done, I will help you get through it. We're going to flip it through, put it right on that 1/2 inch mark because it started out up right here. So now it should be down at the 1/2 inch once you flip it. And you can crease your little corners there. So you have a nice, perfect square. And we're going to do one more. Actually, I didn't line it up. So you want to make sure you line it up before you start flipping things. Look at me rushing. So you're going to flip it. You're going to put it on the 1/2 inch and crease it. There you go. That is done. See, if you look at this one has the plaid in the middle. So this time I just did the other side because I wanted the red in the middle. I wanted to see how different it would look. All right, so if you're done with that's what you can do is what I'll do is take my, it's probably easier with repositionable tape. I'm just going to kind of tape on those very edges. And I'm going to use my little mat so I don't get it on my nice mat. And just to kind of stick these squares down, you want to make sure that when you fold this down, your adhesive isn't sticking out. So make sure you're really at the edges here. All right, so I'm going to stick that down and I'm going to go around and stick all 4 of them just so it's not flopping all over the place. And one more. There we go. So I have all of mine done. Get this out of the way. Now you could take this the way it is you didn't want to waste a lot of paper, and you could take it and you could put it right down on your layout. But I kind of like the look with the other piece of paper around it. So I'm going to put this on the back of it, and I'll give you the measurements. But what you can also do is you can kind of gut this out so you're not wasting paper. So if you want to gut this out, we'll probably make like a 1-inch square. If you have the trimmer, you're kind of doing the same kind of thing. I'm going to move my clips. I'm going to have one of them at like 0. And the other one I'm going to put at 10.5. The right side is at 10.5. But I'm going to double check it, because you want your clip maybe at 0, but you want it to cut at 1 inch. So, okay, and you want it to be, actually, I need to cut this down first, so I should have told you that first. So anyways, this piece of paper needs to be 10.5 inches. Yeah, so let's cut this to be 10.5 inches square. That just means you're cutting off 1.5 inches on 2 adjacent sides. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to put my clips on. So that was silly of me. I'm going to save these scraps. This is 10.5 inch square is what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to do what I was just about to do. So you're making a 1 inch gut. So I'm going to put 1. So I have this one at the clip, the left of the clip is at 0. So it cuts at 1 inch. And then the right of this clip is at 10.5. So it cuts at 9.5. So it's going to go from 1 inch to 9.5. So I'm just going to make sure it's cutting where I want it. Okay. And then you put this at 1 inch. You're going to do just what we did before, making sure it's even. If you don't want to gut it and you just want to use your whole piece of paper, you can do that as well. It's really up to you. So I'm just going to go around 4 times, and it should cut the inside of this paper out. And I'll have a nice extra piece of paper I can use for mats. So, or something else. On my other one, I used it for mats. Got one more to go. And we're almost done. So okay, see how I just took that out? I have my nice little frame. This is extra. And now we're done cutting that. So we're going to take our base piece, put this back where it was. And we have this one. So I'm going to use repositionable tape on it because it's just easier with flippy floppy skinny pieces of paper. Hopefully I have enough, because like I told you, I was out. Don't have a spare. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so I'm gonna center this on. You could put it on your other piece first if you wanted to do that. I'm gonna stand up and try to get this straight. It's much easier. So it'd probably be like 3/4 of an inch is where you want to line this up everywhere. 3/4 of an inch would be 1/2 of 1.5 inches. Okay, that looks good. And then you want to put this right on top. So your little ends here are going to stick up a little bit higher than the rest of it, but you can see how you're covering so much of it. You hate to waste all that paper. So I'm gonna tape this. Something in the middle. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to kind of make it so the frame is even all the way around. There we go. So that's done. And then I'm going to take my, then it's up to you what you want to do. It's up to you to, you can put a, you know, a border punch here. You can go down and across. You can just go across if you want to do that. You can take your, if you did cut out the center of this, if you cut 4x4 squares, they'll fit really nicely in there. Let me show you how that looks. I'm going to take off my clips. A lot of times, if you do carry the clips around, I tend to kind of just store them on the back here. That's where I'll keep them so I don't lose them. And if you get the mini ones, they fit perfectly on the back of your trimmer. So I'm going to cut my mats. I should be able to cut 4x4 mats. I'll just show you what it looks like. Or you can just put your photos. You can cut your photos 4x4, or you can put mats on and then cut your photos like 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So that I'm going to put those there because I think it looks cute. And then I'm going to cut my border. Actually, I'm going to move this while I cut my border. If you don't have a border punch, you can use a border sticker. I have some of those here. You could use something like these border stickers and go across. Let me show you what it looks like. So you could do that. You could do whatever you like. So I'm going to stick these on. And you're kind of just finishing it how you like it. That's the fourth one. Love these papers so much. And then I have my border that I'm going to put across like that. So let me put some adhesive on it. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. Just there we go. And was thinking of taking my little shimmers, which I will show you. I did that on this one. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but the parts of the fireworks on that paper, you can't see it probably really well, but I did use the silver shimmer on that to give it some sparkle. These are the shimmer pens that we have. And you could also, I also took some mini ABCs, made a title, Tough Rock 2023. So I'll probably put more Tough Rock. I don't think I'm going to put these two next to each other. I think I'm going to come up with a second page for each of these. But, you know, like I told you, I have tons of this paper, which you could take the shimmer. Yeah, let me show you. I used, this is the silver. All I did was take, you know, you give it a little shake. There's a whole process to getting these started. So don't think you just open the cap and you get going. There's a whole process. So make sure you ask your advisor. But I'm just going to kind of color in. I'm not going to do it on this part because that's going to be covered by a photo. Most of it is going to be covered by a photo. And I'm just putting the shimmer pen, the shimmer brush pen on the white, making it kind of silver. I love these. This is the silver one. There is a clear one that just adds glitter. I like that one as well. I probably use that one more, but I thought it'd be nice to use the silver. There's gold, there is purple, and then there's a blue one. I don't believe you can get the clear one online anymore. I have a bunch of them, but I don't think you can get it on the website anymore. Just from any advisors that happen to have them in their inventory, and I have a huge inventory. A little too huge. Okay, I'm just gonna finish this up. And then I'm going to be stopping the video, see how everybody is doing. If you are watching the recording and you have questions about this layout, please just put it in, once the video is posted, just put a comment with your question and I will try to answer it for you. I know this could be a little bit tricky with the cuts, but it's easier than you think. So just got to kind of wrap your brain around it a little bit. And give me my gold, my silver. It's not gold, it's silver. My silver. All righty. I know it's hard to see on here, but it looks really cute. So these are like Winkastellas is what they are, but they Creative Memories calls them shimmer brushes, shimmer brush pens. So, and that's it. So I'm going to stop the recording and hope you enjoy this layout. Let's see. There it